Ron Paul would be very dangerous for this country because he wants to bring troops like you back from your post from all over the world.
Well, I think it would be even more dangerous to start nitpicking wars with other countries. Someone like Iran, Israel is more than capable of.
All right, we just lost our connection, unfortunately.
Even if he runs as a Republican or as an independent, he could really hurt whomever the Republican nominee is, because still nobody thinks, even if he does well here in New Hampshire, that he will ultimately be the nominee. And I'm sure you talk to Republicans who are worried as well, just like I am, that Ron Paul will continue on, who are worried as well, just like I am, who are worried as well, just like I am, who are worried as well, just like I am, who are worried as well, just like I am.
I think you already know what I'm talking about.
Recent polls show that you're actually declining right now as we get closer to the caucuses. And one of the reasons is because Rick Santorum is surging. You've been hitting Newt Gingrich in your ads, you have been hitting Mitt Romney in your ads, but not Rick Santorum. Is he a surprise?
You know, I always am amazed at how you pick and cite certain things, because I read one night, just a few minutes ago, it was the most recent one, they said that we were in first place. So, you know, I see the citing a poll sometime as orchestrated for a purpose.
Well, right.
Now, it's a tight race. It's in 3 places. Anybody could win out of those 3. But we're excited about the enthusiasm, so.
Rick Santorum is a former senator. You know what it's like to serve in the Senate. You know what it's like to serve in the Congress. Why wouldn't he be a good Republican nominee?
Because he's very liberal.
Rick Santorum's liberal?
Oh, I mean, have you looked at his record? Go look at his record. I mean,
what makes him liberal?
He spends too much money. I mean, he wasn't leading the charge to slash the budgets and vote against big government.
What do you think about him?
You know, he voted to double the size of the Department of Education. He voted to expand Medicare and add free drugs for senior citizens. And he's voted for foreign aid. Those are not conservative principles. 77% of the American people are opposed to foreign aid. And Rick Santorum's voted for it every time it's come down. I just have one last question on the substance. I was talking to a very well-plugged-in Republican here in Iowa who told me that one of the reasons why you're losing support in these waning days is because of your with Republicans is because of your foreign policy, specifically on Iran. So my question for you is, what would a President Paul do if Iran were to get a nuclear weapon?
That's a long answer. We're running out of time. Just come to the meeting we're going to have. If I mention anything about the troops and coming home and stopping the wars, you'll get the loudest applause, and that's why my crowds are growing, because I have a different foreign policy. I have the old right foreign policy. I have the foreign policy of George W. Bush of 2000, when he says, no nation building, no policing the world, no entanglements, none of these wars. That's what he ran on. That's why the Republican Party does support this. They have in the past. But to say that Republicans are going to shy away from this, 70% of the American people are agreeing with me about getting out of Afghanistan. That's what you ought to be talking about.
South Carolina, but skip Florida, and then go on to the next caucus state. Why is
well, that's not exactly true. I mean, we'll be doing something in Florida, but right now we're waiting to see how we do tomorrow night and see how the money comes in and see how we do in South Carolina. But we're not forgetting about Florida, but we don't have plans for, you know, like a $10 million, $20 million program, because we don't have that money in the bank and we can't go to Wall Street to get this money. So we'll have to wait and see. But it is planned that at this moment, we don't have a big campaign plan there, but they'll know we're there, and we have the caucus states that we'll be paying more attention to.
Does that say anything about your efforts to actually secure the nomination? I mean, it's sort of hard to do it without really competing in a state like Florida.
No, well, I think it tells you that we are realistic, and that's the way we approached Iowa. We thought we did pretty well there, and right now, polls are looking pretty good up here. So I think we're being realistic. We shouldn't be acting like the government and planning to spend money we don't have. But we have to wait and see how things go.
Well, like at the last stop where you just were, it was madness. But there was a woman there who was a New Hampshire voter. She voted for Barack Obama in the last primary. She told me that if she would have been able to just shake your hand and look you in the eye, you would have gotten her vote. But now she's turned off because you left. Does that say anything about your ability to
connect? It says something about the media.
Yeah, this is junk. This is junky question. We're stopping.
This is
junk. We're moving to the next one. These are junky questions.
Yes. Because you, the media, did that to her. She should have been furious with you.